Now to a Republican who is not voting for the bill, Indiana Congressman Dan Burton. Congressman Burton, thank you very much for joining us. Bipartisan, no Republicans in the House, 3 in the Senate. How in the world, with all due respect to Senator Collins, is this bipartisan?
Well, it's not bipartisan, and it's going to end up causing more problems than it's going to solve. You know, back in the 1970s, we had a worse situation, and Jimmy Carter used the same formula they're using right now to try to solve the economic problems, and we ended up with double-digit inflation, double-digit unemployment, and they ended up raising the interest rates, Volcker did, who's back, to 21%, and it put people like me out of business. And this is a recipe for disaster. And we're not just talking about the $800 billion in this stimulus bill. We're talking about another $400 billion that's coming down the road in a couple of weeks. We're talking about what the Secretary of the Treasury said today, that they were probably going to have to use another $1 trillion or maybe $2 trillion to get the financial institutions moving as they should. This is a recipe for hyperinflation. Really hyperinflation.
And the devaluation of the dollar and, buy gold perhaps. Congressman Burton, here's the thing. I don't know if you heard this. When Harry Reid, Senate Majority Leader, introduced Collins, he said he wanted to thank the, quote, 3 patriotic senators and the Republicans who voted for this, indicating if you didn't vote for this, you're not patriotic. How do you feel about that?
I feel just the opposite. I think the people who don't profit from history are destined to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And he may be calling those people patriotic, but I think the people who stand up for what they know is right, they're the real patriots. And the people who hung together in the House, the 170 some of us, without a single one defecting, we're the ones, I think, that really told the American people we want to solve the economic problems. We do need a stimulus, but it should be in the form of tax cuts and things that stimulate economic growth.
You know, it's interesting. I was reading on your website that you proposed a 2-month income and employment tax holiday. Ironic, last night on this program, I talked about it kind of being facetious because we know it'll never happen. You know, you heard Congressman Sherman. What's wrong with putting money back in Americans' pockets and letting them decide how to spend it? I imagine it's because if you get an income tax holiday, it means you got to be producing income, and necessarily maybe that's not what the Democrats want to help.
Well, you're absolutely right. An income tax holiday would put disposable income in people's pockets who are earning the money, and it would help stimulate the economy, along with tax cuts like cuts in the corporate taxes. And but what they want to do is they want to have a tax rebate system which gives approximately 40% of the population money back who don't pay any taxes. So in effect, it's going to be a welfare check.
What's the quote we said on the air last night? A government that supports a policy of robbing Peter to pay Paul can always be assured of the support of Paul. Congressman Dan Burton of Indiana, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. The wrong plan, the wrong man. Tim Geithner, under pressure.